in reach here. 10-inch reach advantage for the much taller Sadibou Sy. 7-inch leg reach advantage. That could be significant, especially when we're talking about a guy who has so many finishes with his legs, kicks and knees. Sadibou Sy is vicious, a sniper, as Eve Edwards called him. Lillian Garcia gets the welterweight playoffs started inside the PFL Smart Cage.
And now it is time for the first fight of the 2019 PFL Playoffs. We begin in the welterweight division with the quarterfinals. This is brought to you by SeatGeek, where you can score the best deals on tickets. Introducing to you first, fighting out of the blue corner. His background is in boxing. Standing at 5'7", weighing in at 170 pounds. In 25 professional bouts, he has a record of 18 victories and 7 defeats. Here is the number 6 seed, fighting out of Pearl City, Hawaii, Brada Ray Cooper III. His opponent, fighting out of the red corner, he is a kickboxer, towering at 6 feet 3 inches tall, weighing in at 170 pounds. In 14 professional bouts, he has a record of 8 victories, 5 defeats, and 1 draw. Here is the number 3 seed, fighting out of Stockholm, Sweden, the Swedish Denzel Washington, Sadibou Sy. Your referee in charge, Mark Smith.
Mark Smith will oversee the playoff action. Welterweights. Sadibou Sy in the blue trunks, Ray Cooper III in the silver. A spot in the semifinals on the line, and keeping the dream alive for a Season 2 championship. Touch of the gloves, and we are off in playoff action.
I have a love-hate relationship with guys that I consider friends fighting each other.
Ray Cooper grabs the kick, catches it, and immediately goes to work against the cage.
And Sadibou is going to stuff the head right here, try to keep Ray Cooper from being strong. You put that posture, you break the posture of the neck, you take away some of that strength. But Ray does a good job.
Great balance there by Sadibou Sy. Up and down goes Ray Cooper, but Sy able to plant his feet. And that's one of the reasons why this size and height disparity could be a big factor, Randy.
So look how wide those legs are. He's got great balance. You think you got him up where he's going to go down, and he manages to get a toe or a pad of a foot or something on the floor to keep himself up. Nice job by Cooper catching that kick and following it into that single leg. That was very nice timing.
That also tells us pretty much what Ray Cooper's strategy is. He wants to get this fight to the ground. He knows he has an advantage there, and he wants to get it there as soon as possible.
Nice knees there by Sadibou Sy. There's last year's champion, Magomed Karimov. He could potentially be facing the winner of this bout in his second fight of the night if he can get past his first opponent, Chris Curtis. Cooper doggedly pursuing this takedown against the cage. And Randy, we know that the takedown is his strategy, but this is an exhausting method of fighting.
It absolutely is. He's spending a lot of energy. He's carrying a lot of Sadibou's weight in this situation. He needs to really change directions. It's easy to go forward and easy for Sadibou to adjust to that. When he starts pushing and pulling and creating some space between that solid barrier, it makes it much tougher on Sadibou to keep his balance.
Cooper caught another kick there, goes to work on the inside. Big
shot by Ray Cooper.
Ray Cooper to the ground and pound. Sadibou Sy in trouble after being dropped, but able to grab onto Ray Cooper and hopefully gain a reset here.
Looked like a right hand caught Sadibou Sy right behind the ear and stunned him a little bit.
In a wild exchange.
Cooper lands inside control. There's the action man, Chris Curtis. He'll fight Maga Million, last year's champion, in his quarterfinal bout. Shoulder pressure here on the top from Ray Cooper III.
And this is where Ray Cooper is going to be able to display the most control.
Sadibou just patiently waiting. Does he need to be active with those arms? He's got neutral arms right now.
He does. He needs to take that right arm and do what with it?
Get an underhook on that other side.
Find that far side underhook. get Ray Cooper's head off of the mat, and that's going to give him some space, take some of the pressure away from Ray's top position.
2 minutes remaining here in round number 1 of this welterweight quarterfinal bout. Ray Cooper III on top of Sadibou Sy. Yves, show us how Sadibou could potentially get that underhook.
Well, he punched that arm through underneath right there. We see him there. Now what he's doing, he's taking away that pressure. But look at Ray Cooper. What Ray's doing is circling his hips in this direction to cover Sadibou's hips and keep the pressure on him. Now Sadibou's in that open guard, and this is a completely different fight. He's got to get his feet on the ground if he wants to be able to stand.
Sy keeping his legs high. Big right hand thrown down from the top by Ray Cooper III. Searches with a left hand for some ground and pound. Sadibou Sy doing a good job controlling the hands, minimizing the damage and the potential power on those shots from the top. Randy, there's a couple ways you can posture here. Ray Cooper goes from his feet now to one knee down.
A little harder to bring your hips as hard as he needs to bring his hips, especially with a longer opponent. He's got to keep his knees off the mat, stay on his toes, get his hips in and his head up, clear that head tie, get that head up, bring those hips in hard, and then he can pick his shots from there and make Sadibou try to cover.
Inside of 1 minute left here in round number 1. Ray Cooper III, we wondered if he was going to be wild, if he was going to come out charging, or if he was going to shoot this takedown. He went with the smart approach here, getting Sadibou Sy onto his back.
Honestly, I think we saw it from his walk-in. Usually he comes storming in the cage, and he walked out. He's biding his time. He's being smart about it, tactful about it. Whoa, big left hand.
Big left hand misses, and now Sadibou Sy potentially gets back to work with the kicks. Ray Cooper drops leg. Ray Cooper with a short right hand. 10 seconds left. Can Ray Cooper survive after being knocked silly there by Sadibou Sy? Wild first round and round 2 coming up. Huge playoff action. More to come.
Big right hand.
Sadibou, mouthpiece. All right, second round.
Yves Edwards, they traded knockdowns in this one. That was late in the round. Sadibou Sy knocked Ray Cooper down.
Yeah, he used his accuracy, but right here, they get into a brawl right here, and Ray's able to land 3 big shots. Sadibou gets hurt,
All right, guys,
he falls
second
back
round.
and tries to pull guard to recover. Didn't get to guard, but he was able to recover on bottom.
Touch of the gloves for round 2, and Sadibou Sy immediately goes to work with the jab. Retreating again is Sadibou Sy, and Cooper presses him against the cage, searching for another takedown. Late rally there in round 1 from Sadibou Sy, but was that Ray Cooper's round?
I still had a 10-9 for Ray Cooper. Sadibou did some great things, was effective and came back a little bit, but I think the round still went to Cooper at 10-9.
Remember, quarterfinal bouts are 2 rounds. Should it be 1 round apiece on the judges' scorecards after the 2, the judges will be asked to name an overall winner. One disparity from what we had on the rule book, in season 1, where the emphasis was placed on round 1. Now judges will be asked to judge it on old school pride rules. Who's the overall winner of the fight?
Nice knees from the clinch here by Sadibou, using that size.
Cooper catches one and puts him down, but Sy goes right back up. And again, we talk about this is the first of 2 bouts for whoever the winner is. This is a taxing method of fighting for both guys.
Absolutely, both guys spending a ton of energy, taking a ton of shots.
What I would like to see Sadibou do right here is push down on that head of Ray Cooper. As Ray Cooper has his head down low, close to Sadibou's hips. If he pushes down on that, that's going to take away a lot of the pressure forward from Ray Cooper and make Ray expend a lot of energy.
I like Sadibou's hand control. Really hard to take a guy down with one hand. He's grabbed onto that one hand of Ray Cooper's, and he is not going to let that go.
He's got to pick Ray Cooper up now and get his back off of the fence. What Ray needs to do, Ray needs to isolate one leg. Sadibou's legs are too long, his hips are too wide. He's going to have a hard time cutting that corner.
And you saw him there trying to duck under, trying to turn the corner. More knees from Sadibou Sy. That's one thing we talked about in the fighter meetings. He said if he closes distance, he's coming into my clinch. It's not just about wrestling. Ray Cooper has to survive my knees, and so far the Hawaiian has done it.
It's the advantage of a taller opponent. Easy to bring those knees up and hit you right in the guts.
Here's Sadibou Sy's corner.
Nice underhook by Sadibou. There's a cup check.
Quick timeout for the cup check here. Now this will be an interesting strategic decision here. Not the worst groin shot we've seen, but you get up to 5 minutes to recover. Does Ray Cooper take his time, catch his breath a little bit here?
I'm telling you what, Sadibou Sy's making him spend a bunch of energy trying to secure these takedowns. He's wise if he does take a little bit of this time, catch his breath.
Halfway through round number 2, the second and final round in this welterweight quarterfinal.
With good instincts, and Sadibou has good instincts and balance, you know, it takes a lot of effort. It takes more effort to be offensive in those wrestling situations than to be defensive.
If you take a look at the Cageonomics readout here on the bottom of your screen, you see the Ray Cooper III throwing with his typical heat, 25.2 miles an hour, probably on one of those right hands.
Time in, fight.
Back at it after about a minute of rest. The jab lands for Sadibou Sy. Head kick misses. Well, it's blocked, excuse me. Body kick for Sadibou Sy. Ray Cooper staying at Sadibou's range here.
I think Ray is a little tired. He spent a ton of energy.
Catches a kick.
Sadibou's so tall, so long, he's able to stay on the outside. Ray just bull rushed him and got to this takedown.
Trapped both of his feet. Sadibou felt like a tree, felt like a redwood out there.
And now Ray Cooper III goes to work, pinning Sadibou Sy's legs together. Randy pulls the figure 4, wraps those legs. That is a dominant top position.
Took a Nurmagomedov tactic and stepped over both those feet, trapping him. Now if he can get good posture with his head and clear his hands, he can really land some good shots from here.
Will fatigue become a factor here in round number 2? 90 seconds left. Ray Cooper III on top of Sadibou Sy. Sy's gonna have to get back to his feet to make something happen here with a smothering state champion wrestler on top of him.
Sadibou's got to get that right palm of his behind Ray Cooper's neck and stuff his head. Just really crowd Ray Cooper into his own hips. Push Ray Cooper towards his right, but Ray's doing the right thing by picking his head up, putting his forehead into Sadibou's chin, and smashing him up against the fence.
See, negating the offense from Ray Cooper on top, but right now it's all about control. You can see that a lot of the fight has taken place here with our fight tracker up against the cage, which is exactly, Randy, where Ray Cooper III wanted it and needed it.
Absolutely. He did not want Sadibou Sy out in the middle in that blue, using that range and that length.
Here we go. This situation.
Fight tracker there. Sorry, Eve, go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. This situation is one of the things that we worked on specifically with Sadibou, working on the fence, trying to defend his body lock from here, returning to a front-to-front position, to a neutral position. Now what I would like to see him do is pummel that left arm in and dig Ray Cooper, pick him back up, make Ray Cooper stand tall.
20 seconds left here in this grinder of a quarterfinal fight between Ray Cooper, who tries to turn the corner for another takedown.
Nice second
Scores
effort.
another one there.
Nice
against
second
Sadibou
effort by
Sy.
Ray Cooper to drop levels, get in deeper on those hips, and come back out and then turn the corner to finish that takedown.
There is the final bell in this welterweight quarterfinal. Ray Cooper finishes on top of Sadibou Sy. Well, Randy, we thought that maybe it was Ray's first round. I think the takedown and the control was probably enough for round number 2, but you never know how the judges will see.
Yeah, sometimes the judges don't score things, especially when it comes to ground fighting, the way you think they will sometimes. But the second round was much closer, but I think Ray eked it out with those 2 takedowns.
Little mouse under the right eye there of Ray Cooper III. And a fatiguing performance for both men. No matter who wins, gonna have to go back and recover. We'll find out the winner next. Welcome back to Mandalay Bay. We just finished our first welterweight quarterfinal playoff bout of the evening. There's Ray Cooper Jr. and Ray Cooper III. Icing the eye. Remember, it's fight twice and win twice. So all the damage, all the fatigue, all of the pain that you have from this first bout, you carry into the second bout of the evening here. Whoever the judges decide is the winner is going to have to go back and recover. Here's our Cageonomics total numbers. Pretty even in the striking battle as far as percentages of strikes landed. But those 3 takedowns for Ray Cooper III, Randy.
Those 3 takedowns really told where this fight took place for most of the fight. And that was against the cage or on the fence, on the ground.
Sadibou Sy was active with the kicks, but Ray Cooper caught the kicks. And that was one thing that was maybe part of the strategy for the wrestler. You know you're going to get kicked, you got to grab him.
Every time he kicks, you got to make him pay. You got to follow through. He's standing on one foot. It's very hard to sprawl and change directions, so it makes you vulnerable to that takedown.
Saw Ray not enjoying those knees, and he was able to catch the final knee and finish the takedown right here. He balls Sadibou over. He's just chasing. When he goes low on those, it's basically a low ankle. Double low ankles. Trips Sadibou over, and from there it was very hard for Sadibou to get back to the top. But he did do some damage from the bottom and when he was in the open on his feet. So we'll see what the judges say, but I agree with you guys with Ray edging out those 2 rounds. Close fight though, tough fight.
And we knew it would be, right? The entire welterweight bracket in these playoffs is stacked with talent, and the matchups are intense. Lillian Garcia has the official decision inside the PFL cage.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 2 rounds, we go to the judges' scorecards, and the bout has been ruled a majority draw. Therefore, it comes down to a tiebreaker. Each judge has chosen a fighter to advance based on their overall performance, and all 3 judges have picked the same fighter. Advancing to the semifinals, Ray Cooper III!
And the 9th Island cheers.
Mandalay Bay reacts, 200+ strong in attendance here for Ray Cooper. Great display of sportsmanship between these 2 fighters. It was going to be tough for either. We talked about this in the fighter meetings. Both of these guys, they get along very well. They consider themselves friends.
Sadibou said when he saw Ray Cooper Jr., Ray III's dad, it was an emotional moment for him because he knew one of them was walking out of here disappointed today.
So Ray Cooper III out of Pearl City, Hawaii, he advances to the semifinals. He will face the winner of Magomed Karimov and Chris the Action Man Curtis. That bout coming up later on ESPN2. Caroline Pierce is inside the cage with our winner.
Thanks, Sean. Ray, huge congratulations. You've made it into the semifinals. I know there's a lot of respect between yourself and Sadibou. Happy with that performance?
Yeah. I wish I could have done more standing, but he's a tough guy. He hit hard. His kicks is hard, but thank you, and thank you, Jesus. Thank you to my family coming home. I love you guys.
Well, 200 strong fans of yours in the house tonight. It looked like catching the kicks and the takedowns was the strategy. You even walked to the cage and you didn't run. It was a composed Ray Cooper. Was that the plan?
Yeah, I was trying to pick my punches more. Obviously, from my last fight, I got caught. He caught me again, but I was able to eat him. And yeah, I'm coming in for scrap. And yeah, the next fight, you guys better be ready. I'm warmed up now, so we're gonna scrap whoever it is. I'm coming for you.
Well, this next quarterfinal that you might be faced against Magomed Karimov or Chris Curtis, we know how much you want that rematch with Maga Million. What would that mean to you to get Maga?
That would mean a lot, but the fight is not over yet. We still got to fight, and I'm ready for anybody. Whoever wants to go, I'm gonna smash you.
Well, rest up. We'll see you in the quarterfinals. Ray Cooper III. Back to you, Sean.
Thank you, Caroline.
Yeah. Get ready. Listen. What you wanna do? If you don't strike first, that's when they gon' come at you. Yeah. And you know it's true. Don't let your life get worse. Being timid, that ain't cool. Nah.